Welcome to Fiercely Blessed, powered by Blessed Bananas. I am your host, Nadine Ramos, and today we have the amazing Alyi V with us, and we're going to be discussing all things Latina based. So, what it is to be a Latina woman, how to build up a community of other Latinas, and supporting women in business. It's just an empowering segment. So, enjoy and thank you for tuning in with us. So wait, before we even start with the questions, I want to say congratulations on your 1-year anniversary of Growing Up Latina podcast. That is major.
Thank you. My baby turn 1 is literally like a baby. Like,
yes,
seriously, like a baby. Like,
I
we went
feel
into
you
labor,
on that.
we pushed her out.
That's right.
She's 1.
Absolutely. I feel you on that 100%. But let me tell you, looking at your page and all the interviews you have done, you've met with so many great women, so many Latina women doing their thing, and you're such a natural. What does it feel like for you right now, being on the flip side and being interviewed and not being the interviewee?
It feels weird. I'm not going to lie. It feels so weird, but I just feel blessed in this moment. I feel blessed that, other people recognize the work because, as you know, it's just, it's one of those things where you put your all into it, right? And, for me, I always say I don't do it for the income. I do it for the outcome. So for me, this is just an investment. It's a passion project. I just want to tell our stories. And now that my baby turned 1, I'm like, what?
Yes.
Like, what? She's 1 years old.
I know.
And I'm just happy to see like what the years ahead holds for me, honestly.
I love that you said it's not for the income, it's more for the outcome. Do you mean like it's more so to fill your cup up? It blesses you more than anything else, and that's the reason why you do it?
So if I'm 100% honest, and I had this conversation the other day, I feel like, I have 2 businesses. So I have Growing Up Latina, and then I also have the Alyi V Experience. And with the Alyi V Experience, I put myself on the forefront. I'm always like, spearheading those projects, and I'm just always like in front, right? And with Growing Up Latina, I'm also in front, but this is one of those projects where the project is bigger than me. And it was something that going into the project, my producer told me, like, Ali, this project is bigger than you, right? Like, Growing Up Latina will eventually have more followers than you. It's always going to be bigger than you. It's not about you. And so for the first time, I feel like, and I don't mean to get like religious or anything like that, but I feel like I am doing God's work, and God has really called upon me to be of service. And so when I say that the project is bigger than me, I feel like for the first time in my entire life, I am being of service to others. So for me to, even a thought of like stopping the project, is disturbing to me, only because I feel like I would disappoint other Latinas, because I feel like for the first time I am shedding light. Again, this is not a podcast that's celebrity based. It's none of those things. This is a podcast where I'm truly shedding light to Latinas and showing just us, right, in all forms, in all facets, and showing what we're doing behind the scenes, in front of the camera, celebrating us. And that's what I mean by the project is bigger than me.
Yes, I love that. I love that you said how this is a project that serves others. There's such great fulfillment when we serve others. I was actually having that conversation recently as well, because it's like so many of us try to look for our purpose. And there's so many women out there, I don't care what age. It's like, what's my true purpose? We all reached that point and asked ourselves that question of, what are we here for? And I think that when we start to serve others in different capacities, there's a sense of fulfillment. And that fulfillment is that defined purpose. I believe we were put on this earth to do that, to again
Correct.
some type of capacity, some level of serving, right? And so I love that you're doing that because you have created a platform for, like you said, it's not about celebrities. And yes, you're in that world too. You could easily have the podcast geared that way, but you decided that this is something that I want to allow regular women, women in business, Latina women to
Absolutely.
come together and lend their voice and to share their stories. I love that. Thank you so much for doing that.
No, thank you for even recognizing, because it's been a journey. It's been a year of a journey of laughter, tears, and just so much that goes into creating this. And for me, it's so important to maintain the quality of the work,
Right.
to show us in our true form. And I feel like we get like overlooked. I don't feel like we get the shine enough. Like if you're
Yeah.
not J Lo, Shakira, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
you don't get
Carol
that shine.
G, you know?
Correct. Correct. And there's just so many of us. And I
Yes.
remember like the woman that I was interviewing, Karina Daves, and I was sharing in the interview that one of my friends told me, your podcast is so niche. Like, do you think that you would run out of Latinas? And I'm like, there's just so many of us. I could run this for years and years to
Yes.
come.
Yes, girl.
Like there's just too much of us. It's an abundance of
Hmm.
Latinas. I want to capture the stories. I want to just share it with the world. I'm not gonna stop.
There you
I'm
go.
not gonna stop.
Won't stop, can't stop, won't stop, won't
You
stop.
already know. Exactly. Exactly.
I would love to see us more in community, like you mentioned, because there are so many other cultures out there that are doing great big things, like shop small black businesses. My friend and I were having this conversation on Thursday, and it was like I was like, I feel like as a Latina, I don't have that community that I can go to and be like, listen, I'm here to support you. This is how we could support each other and really highlight the good stuff that we're doing. Because listen, at the end of the day, nothing was handed to us. We
Mm-hmm.
worked hard. We beat the odds, right? Our
Exactly.
stories are very similar. Boricua, from the projects. I lost my parents at a very early age. I had nothing to fall back on. I had to struggle. I had my lights turned off. And I kept going for my brand, to push my brand with no business background, no education, no finances, nothing, girl. The odds were against me. And here I am, and millionaire before 30 by the grace of
Come on,
God. You know what I'm saying? Like,
talk about it.
and I want
Like
to
we
be,
gotta celebrate you, girl. We gotta celebrate you.
hey, we have to celebrate each other. And that's the point. Like, this is why I love what you're doing. And I think we need to come together more as Latinas to highlight and showcase and empower and truly be happy for one another and help each other. Like,
Absolutely.
how can I serve you today? You
Right.
know?
It's about the amplification of it all, right? So it's like, how can we amplify each other's businesses? And it's not a
Yes.
competitive energy, it's more of an
Yes.
uplifting energy. And I have a really close friend, her and I are in the same industry. And we are best friends in real life, but we
Uh-huh.
also do business together, right? And sometimes
Okay.
that can be
Mm-hmm.
a bit of a challenge for people with the personal and the business. And I
Right.
always say, like, she uplifts me and I uplift her, and I'm happy for her and she's happy for me. And we often travel together and we cry about our accomplishments because we
Mm-hmm.
really came up in the same industry. And for us to kind of in hindsight look back and say, wow, like we really did this,
Yes.
it's such a special moment that we celebrate. And I think that we need to see more of that in the community. And we need to really amplify each other's stories and not feel like it's such a competitive, because it's not. It's really not that. And it should never be about that. And I think the less that we are competitive and the more that we begin to come together, that's when the change truly happens. And that's what I aspire to do. Like I am just trying to share our stories to say, like, hey, listen, you know what? This is us, and this is why you need to like watch us and see more of us. And again, there's so much of us, and we're not gonna stop. And we're always going to be here. And so, like, my mission with Growing Up Latina is just to showcase our stories because, yes, although we have the same upbringings and we share the same similarities in that sense, the outcome is totally different, right? Like I have five sisters and four brothers. We don't do the same things, but needless to say, like my sister, I'm so proud of her. Like my sister is a partner. She has her own accounting firm, right? And she's like in a powerful position, in a position where there's majority men,
Right.
and so like I'm here to like I always joke with her. I'm like, come on the show, girl. She's like, girl, you already know I'm so nervous, and I'm like, but you're a partner. And she's like,
Yeah.
but it's even like her. I'm doing this for my nieces who watch the
Yes.
show. I mean, I have nieces that are 10, 11 years old, and they watch the show and they look up to me, and so I'm
Hmm.
doing it for them. So again, the project is bigger than me. The mission will always be bigger than me, but this is something that, whether I'm here in the flesh or not, this will live on. And this
Yes.
is something that, it, for a long time in my mind, I've had this idea to really just take this on the road, even. Like, I want to go to Puerto Rico and DR and
Yes.
Mexico and really go to the roots of like where
Oh
we
my
come
goodness,
from.
Allie, that would be amazing.
Yeah,
Let's speak that into existence. Seriously.
you already know.
That has to become a reality. Like that sounds
And you better be
so.
there.
I will
You
be there
better
with you, mama. I'll hold your maletas. I'll do whatever you need me to do as long as I'm there.
No, you're coming, you're coming. And
You're
I'm
so
proud of
cute.
everything that you're doing as well.
Oh,
Like
thank
you're
you.
amazing. And
I
and
appreciate that.
and that's the thing, is just like, the familia is big, right? Everybody, we
Yes.
all primas. So it's like, let's just
Yes.
celebrate us.
I love
Yeah.
that. And with that said, like, what advice would you give to other Latinas to kind of jump on this vision, jump into this vision with you, with me, with other Latinas who have that same heartbeat to kind of build this community big and strong? What are simple steps that they can do to support one another? What advice would you give on that tip?
Kind of drown out the noise. I think growing up for me, I had so much noise surrounding me of like, you shouldn't, you can't, don't, no. I had a lot of like negating terms that, had I listened to them, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. So I would tell, fellow Latinas, like, keep going, drown out the noise, listen to the voice within you. Also, like, don't be afraid to network across. And what I mean by that is, we oftentimes look at the celebrities, right? We look at who is higher up, not seeing or recognizing that the person across is just as powerful, is just
Yes.
as monumental, is just as influential, is just as
Yes.
impactful. And so we need to really look at the lateral support and
Mhm.
not so much of, and I love all celebrities, but not so much of like the Becky G, the Carol G, the
Right, right,
Shakira, the J Lo, because those people may seem out of reach, right? and
right.
and oftentimes, and I know, just because I do work with a lot of celebrities, it's never the star, it's the people around them that really
Mm,
can be the most impactful and kind of lend more of an ear, lend more of advice to the person that they're trying to help. And also, like, those are the people that they listen to, right? Like your favorite celebrity, they listen to the people around them,
right,
their
right.
team. And so just don't stop. Try to network across, try to do as many networking events. I was always like shy growing up and I wouldn't go out as much.
You?
Yes,
I
I was
can't even
very
picture
shy.
that. What?
1000%. I was such a shy girl. And I would actually force myself to go to events without a plus one. So I would just throw myself
Wow.
into events. And then when I became an event planner, I would actually curate my own events where I made it a thing of like, I'm going to invite you, but you can't invite any plus one. And it would force people to network.
Yes.
And I think if you step into that uncomfortable position,
Mhm.
so to speak, as cliche as it sounds, that's really where the magic happens. And that's really where you're going to learn more about yourself, more about what you want
Mhm.
to do. And you get to um, hang around like-minded individuals that maybe
Yes.
we don't see in our homes, right? Because like for
Hmm.
me, like my mom really wanted me to be an accountant. There's no
Right.
one in my family that does what I do. Like they're not in the entertainment industry, but I had to
Mhm.
really surround myself with like-minded individuals where our struggles did not hinder us. Instead, our struggles empowered us to do
Right.
more.
Right. And that encouraging, like, okay, he's
Yeah,
doing it, she's doing it, I can do it too. I have to
correct.
take that advice because even on Thursday, I was in New York. I went to this event and I went with not plus one, but plus twos because I still, even after all these years, I still get a little like cringy and I'm Dike an extrovert, right? But I still feel like a little weird to set it off when it comes to networking. So that's something I'm
Mm,
definitely working on, but it's hard but very important. 100 to
so
grow your
important.
business, you need to network. Hands down.
Listen, and it's in your own community. Like I often joke with people, because I live in the Bronx and I'm always
Mhm.
like, going to my local barber shop, going to my local hair salon, and I'm like, uh, press play on my podcast. Thank you. Like I'm always like, like showing them like my podcast and who I am. And I feel like when
Yes, I love
you
it.
are tapped into the power within, you're no longer going to be shy, right? You step into that confidence. And of course, we have good days and bad days where you're just like,
Right.
am I this? Am I that? But like, just be you, just show
Mhm.
up as yourself. And yes, I cannot stress this enough. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
100%.
That's a key that I will always just scream out loud because I
Yes.
feel like a lot of people ask me, well, how do you get your guests? And how do you, well, I met them. This is like years in the making. I knew this person
Yes.
7 years ago.
Yep. Mhm.
So you got to network. You got to go
Yep.
out. Got
It's
to
the
go out.
golden ticket, 1000%. Whether you are introvert, extrovert, shy, new to it, old to it, like me, you have to network. No if,
Just
ands, or
challenge
buts.
yourself. Yeah. Challenge yourself. Just do it. Like Nike, just do it.
Yes, just do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
100%. My last thing to you would be because I know you're so blessed all around. I want to know what makes you fiercely blessed today.
The resilience. Again, it's the message of like not stopping because we all have good days, we all have bad days. And I find that in business, in personal, especially in the entertainment industry, right? Like it's such a very, it's a tough industry in the sense of like you gotta have thick skin. And you hear that all around. You gotta have thick skin, you gotta have thick skin. It doesn't matter what anybody tells me. I promise you, like I keep going, and it's that resilience and I tell my team all the time, like, I'm like, well, did you contact this person? Did you do this? Did you do that? Did you? And they get so stressed out with me, girl. They're like, Allie, why are you just chill? And I'm like, and I always tell them, and I even said this as of yesterday, I said, my goal is when I get to heaven's doors and I have a conversation with God, I just want to be able to say, God, I've used everything you've given me and I gave it all that I've got. And I say that all the time to my team, as much as they're like, you're stressing me out. I'm like, did we give it all that we got? Because if we didn't, like, sometimes my team gets a little discouraged, like, we gotta know. And I'm like, we gotta get 99 more no's to get that yes. So it's that resilience and that's like when you say that I'm blessed and I thank you for that. Um, I just feel like I'm very persistent almost to a fault. Anybody that knows me will tell you that. Like they'll tell you, Allie is so persistent. She will not and you know what? I am because I feel like until you tell me no, like literally until
Mhm.
you say no, Allie, I'm gonna keep going. And even
That's
if you
it.
tell me no, then I'm speaking to the wrong person. You're not
Yes.
the one. you know,
I
you
love
are
that.
not the one.
That
So
is
you
so
you
awesome.
gotta keep going. Gotta keep going.
Yes. I love that. You
And
are
that's what makes me fearlessly blessed.
yes, girl, and you truly are. You're such an encouragement to so many people and women, especially Latina women. I mean, I love
Thank
hearing
you.
your story. I thank you for coming on and being on the opposite side of the podcast today and doing something
Thank
different and really truly sharing who you are. You're such a gift, and I truly pray that everything that you involve yourself in, touch, will turn to gold, that you would continue to
thank
serve others, and that everything you desire will come to fruition, because you are truly amazing and you
thank
are
you
a
so much.
blessing. So thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate it. And I cannot wait for us to go to Puerto Rico together.
You already know. We're gonna turn up. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for
Oh,
having me on your show.
all right. Take care. God bless.